Yeah, so I think it's important to remember that cyber risk from third party needs to be addressed at all phases of the engagement. And at a high level too, I think it's very important to remember that cyber risk, vendor third party risk, it should always be evaluated from a risk-based approach if that vendor is going to be allowed to be active in your environment or stay active in your environment. First, starting with procurement, you want to make sure that you've got the right procurement language. You want to make sure that you maybe have a right to inspect in there. You maybe want to include some certifications that the vendor has to adhere to, maybe a FedRAMP or at least say a SOC 2 audit. You want to make sure that your security team is performing their vulnerability scanning on their regular cadence, that they're staying up to date with their vulnerability and risk reports internal to your environment, and as well as third-party reports. There's also third-party scoring systems out there. There's a few of those that will scan your environment from the outside and give you sort of a credit-like score of what's happening in your environment. And you can also use those to assess third-party vendors who may be managing services for you. So it's a multifaceted, it's a complex answer depending on your environment and what technologies you are running. But essentially, you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to lower the risk as much as possible and make sure that you're using a risk-based approach on whether or not a vendor is going to be used or continue to be used. And the last thing I would say on that is you can still do all that, but you're never at 100% risk-free from third-party vendor risk. So just try to keep that in mind as well, I suppose.